And then Kathy, just let me know if you want me to take it right off the top or if you want to share any housekeeping stuff up front.
I just want to say thank you to everybody that came and that Jeremy has allowed us to record it. So we will get this put online for those who missed the live piece as well. But feel free to interact. Feel free to have some snacks as well if you're physically here. We just had a bunch more people walk in. All right, Jeremy, I'm turning it over to you.
Hey, that's perfect timing. All right. Well, you guys are in the right place because we're about to get way deep into all the black boxes of the hiring process. Before we get there, I just want to give a little love where love is due to Kathy and her whole team at UIS for making this session possible. As we all know, it's kind of a tough moment out there in the job market, but Kathy and her team are here to support you. So if you are in person, give them a little round of applause. And if you are online, make it rain emojis for Kathy and her team. They're working hard to support your success, y'all. Okay, a little bit about your speaker this afternoon. I'm coming to you having had this crazy career of my own, where I got my start back in the day, not as a king of Silicon Valley or anything like that, but as a kindergarten teacher back in New York City. And the one thing that I loved to teach my kids about was technology. And that same nerdy passion ultimately led me to jobs at Apple and Google and all these great places. But there were two places in particular that really rocked my world. The first was working at LinkedIn because I got to see all these insider secrets about how hiring works. And I want to share those with you today. In addition, I also worked for this guy. Now, you may recognize his face, or maybe more likely you recognize his voice, but this is Sal Khan, the founder of Khan Academy and the maker of all those videos you may have watched to learn calculus, ace the SAT, all that good stuff. Now, Sal was my boss back in the summer of 2022, and I'll never forget this fateful day when he calls me into his office and says, Jeremy, please close the door. What I'm about to show you is about to change the future of our society. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. How could that be true? And then sure enough, right there on his screen, 6 months before it launched to the public, was ChatGPT, because we had been picked by OpenAI to be the inaugural launch partner for that world-changing product. And as soon as I saw ChatGPT, I said, hey, this is great for education, but imagine what it could do for careers. And so I've made it my mission over the last couple of years to work with awesome students like yourselves around the world to land jobs that you love. And I want to do the same for you tonight, but I have to ask for a lot in return. First of all, I've got some pop quizzes coming your way. So get ready to answer those in the chat if you're online, in person if you're in the classroom. Number two, I've got a really good offer for you. If you go to bat for me by volunteering for a live demo, I will go to bat for you in a big way. Specifically, I'm going to give you a free LinkedIn profile makeover to help you stand out to all those recruiters who are looking for your talent. And that's all for free, just for volunteering. And even if you don't want to volunteer, even if you're like me and you always hide out in the back of the webinars or the classrooms, just do me the biggest favor of all and take action. Don't just watch my screen, try these things on your own. And with that said, it's time for the first pop quiz. Now, if you had to guess how many resumes the average recruiter is juggling at any given time, do you think the answer is A, 100 resumes at once, B, 1,000 resumes at once, or C, a whopping 10,000 resumes all at one time? Now, if you're in the chat, I want to see an A, B, or C right there. If you're in the room, I want to see some hands. So if you're in the room and you think it's 100 resumes at once, please raise your hand. Okay, no takers for that one. Maybe a little hand up front. That's great. If you think the answer is B, 1,000 resumes at once in the room, go ahead and raise your hand. Okay, a couple hands there, hands down. And then if you think the answer is C, 10,000 resumes, raise your hand. Okay, maybe one or two takers. Well, let's go to Anthony Roman online. Because Anthony, you were the very first person to say C. Anthony, if you wouldn't mind unmuting for just one moment, how did you make that calculation, Anthony? Why did you say C? Anthony said, I don't have a mic. Oh, no worries, no worries. Let's go to Snehal on this one. I know Snehal also said C. Snehal, go for it.
Hi, Jeremy. So I'm in my last semester and I'm already started applying for the jobs, and I'm seeing that in 2 minutes itself, like people are applying, more than 100 people are applying at the same time. So that's why I'm thinking it's like 10,000 plus resumes. Yeah.
Right. Snehal is seeing it firsthand every time she applies for a job because you see those scary numbers. And
Yeah.
guess what, Snehal? You are absolutely correct. When you look at the data
Oh,
behind the scenes, the average recruiter in America has 30 to 40 different jobs to fill. Each of those jobs attracts 250 resumes on average. Do the math, and these poor recruiters are buried. And the worst thing is, they don't just have 10,000 resumes. A lot of those resumes are really bad. They're AI generated, they're one size fits all, they're a waste of their time. And so, what recruiters are saying, forget it. I'm just going to skip this resume nonsense. I'm just going to go online, find the perfect person. And of course, the place to do that is LinkedIn. That's because there are over a billion professionals on LinkedIn today. And as a result, that's where recruiters go. So then the question becomes, if all these recruiters are looking for talent online, what are they searching for in particular? Is it A, a specific degree, B, a specific school, or C, a specific job title? So once again, come back to the chat, give me your best answer online, and if you're in the classroom, raise your hands according to these letters. So if you believe it's all about the power of the degree, BA, BS, MBA, raise your hand right now in the classroom. Okay, let's see what people do here. Okay, interesting, interesting. If you think it is about B, the power of school, so UIS or UIC, raise your hand right now. Maybe one or two takers. And then finally, if you think it's C, all about job title, raise your hand right now. Aha, more folks doing that one. Interesting. So this time, let's go to Stephen Johnson online. Stephen, if you're able to turn on your mic for just a minute, why do you think job title is where every recruiter begins?
I do think that hello everybody, Stephen Johnson Jr. here, he him his pronouns, and I work at UIS, and I do believe that some of the ways that LinkedIn is set up, particularly as it recommends jobs based off of particular experience, that leads me to believe that that is a driver for how employers or recruiters would seek sort of job compatibility.
Absolutely. Steven says, hey, if recruiters have this huge mountain to climb, 40 jobs to fill, they can't fool around with nice to haves like degree in school. They need to focus on must haves. Can you do the job? Yes or no? And it turns out, Steven, that what you guessed is the exact thing that the world's most important screen is all focused on. Because this tool called LinkedIn Recruiter, which costs $10,000 per year per seat, is so valuable because it allows recruiters to go into that 1 billion person database and pull out the perfect project manager or product manager or whatever they're looking for. And to understand how you're doing in the screen that every recruiter uses, I want you to pull up your LinkedIn right now. Like literally get it on your screen, whether you're in the classroom, whether you're online. And then I want you to look at the little headline beneath your name. Probably going to say something like chemistry major or business student at UIS, all these really good things. What it may not say is what the recruiter cares about, which is not just what you're doing today, but what can you do for them tomorrow. And if the reason you're not sure about that is because the world is changing and everything is chaotic right now, and you want to find that perfect North Star, that perfect path, what I want you to do is to raise your hand, either online or in the classroom. First person to raise their hand wins that free profile makeover and a huge advantage in the hiring process.
All right, we got one in the
Hey, there
classroom.
we go. Let's go to the classroom. So, Snehal and Joy, we'll come back to you guys for the next round. But for now, let's go to the classroom. Who's our first volunteer, Kathy?
Oh, go ahead. Yes. You can just talk. It'll pick it up.
Okay. Um, Hi, Jeremy.
Hey there, what's your name?
My name is Aditya Dasari.
Beautiful. Nice to meet you, Aditya.
Nice to
So,
meet you too.
Aditya, tell everyone a little bit about yourself, specifically, what are you studying today? And then what are you thinking about doing tomorrow?
Okay. Currently, I'm in my third semester as a data analytics major.
Cool.
I'm also a GPSI intern at Illinois Department of Employment Security.
Nice.
I would like to be a data analyst after my graduation.
Okay, awesome. And so it sounds like you know exactly what you want to do. You want to be a data analyst. Do you know the specific employers where you want to work or the specific industries?
One of the company I can think out of my top of my head is Pfizer.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so here's
Anything
what,
related to
yeah,
data analytics and related to pharmaceutical transportation of raw materials and that everything related to that. Yeah.
that's awesome. And so one of the cool things that you can do with the power of AI and with LinkedIn is you can get really specific. So instead of just saying, I want to be a data analyst generally, or just at Pfizer, you can start to see all the other options. So check this out. I want everyone out there to pull up your favorite AI tool. Could be ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot. They all work pretty similarly. And then I want you to start by giving it something to work with. So you're going to say, I'm a data analytics student at UIS. And then what I want you to tell me, Aditya, is a couple things about who you are as a candidate. So what are some of your top skills? What are some of your biggest passions?
And you can sit down, the microphone.
Oh, yeah,
will-
that's right. Yeah, you're good. But just give
Thank
me a
you.
sense of, what you're bringing to the job in terms of strengths and interests.
I'm quite strong in my reporting skills. I mean, with Power BI, and my professional writing is good.
Beautiful. And then what about interests? What's something that you're excited about?
Bringing out the stories from the data. I mean, yeah, I'm presenting those. Yeah.
Beautiful. So we're going to start with this as a background, and then we're going to ask the big question, which is, if your challenge is finding your employers, you say, what are 10 employers who would be well suited to my background and interests? What I want everyone to do right now is to replicate this on your own screen. If you're online, you can literally copy and paste it right out of the chat. But even if you're sitting in the classroom, just flip open your own computer, try out a very similar prompt. And by the way, even if you're in the classroom, I'm going to be sending Kathy a list of all these prompts at the end, so you'll have them for your records. Okay, so we'll start with this. And now we're getting somewhere. We're getting down to the specific organizations, whether it's Accenture, Deloitte, PwC, Kaiser, Cognizant, all these different places that could be a good fit. Now, if we want to figure out which of these is the really perfect fit for who you are and what you're going to do next, we've got to go one click higher in terms of values. So tell me this, Aditya. If you close your eyes and imagine what's going to make you really happy over the next 5 years, is it compensation, work-life balance, travel, prestige, social impact? What do you want out of life?
I would say travel and social impact.
Yeah. So we're going to say generate a stack rank table to compare these companies across my goals. We're going to say travel and social impact. And obviously, this is going to be really different for each student. And if anyone is thinking, hey, I don't have that clarity that Aditya has, schedule some time with Kathy and her team because they can help you start to understand who you are and how to get that out there in the world. Now, as you can see, every organization is going to be different. More chance to have social impact, more chance to travel. However, if you want to explore what these companies are really like, to understand what it's like to work for City of Chicago or Amazon or whatever it is, who should you be talking to, Aditya? Who should you reach out to today?
Kathy.
Say it one more time, Aditya. Sorry.
I said Kathy.
Oh, reach out to Kathy. Yeah, absolutely reach out to Kathy. Because here's
Yeah.
the beautiful thing about Kathy. Kathy is plugged in to probably every alum who sat in where you're the table you're sitting at right now. And as a result, Kathy is the hub of the entire Prairie Star universe. But even if it's 3 o'clock in the morning and Kathy's not available at that moment, let me show you another tool. This is a tool that my team built at LinkedIn, and you can actually get access to it in two ways. If you're online, you can click the link in the chat. If you're in the classroom, literally just search for University of Illinois Springfield and then come to this alumni tab where I am. And so what we're going to do is we're going to dig into some of those employers. So Aditya, if you look at this list here, are there one or two companies that really intrigue you?
LinkedIn and Target.
Yeah, beautiful. So you say, hey, this LinkedIn is interesting, Target is interesting. Well, what you can do is you can literally list in those companies. You could say LinkedIn, you could say Target, whatever the company is. And then once you have this list of alumni, you can really start to learn about them. So let's go down here. Let's do someone, I'm trying to find the right person. Ah, yes, here we go. Let's do something with someone like Dan Kramer, who's on the data side and the IT side at Target. Now, if you want to reach out to Dan to learn about his experience, taking him all the way back to UIS, what's the best way to get started, Aditya? Do you want to message him? Do you want to follow him? Do you want to connect with him? What's your recommendation?
Message.
Message. Okay. Now, I know message is tempting because it's in blue, but it turns out it's a trap, Aditya. LinkedIn says, Aditya, if you want to talk to Dan, please take out your credit card and pay us $50 a month for LinkedIn Premium. Do you feel like that is a good value, Aditya?
No.
No way. You have not come all the way to UIS, gone on this whole journey just to have to pay to reach out to a fellow Prairie Star. Instead, let's think this through for a moment. Tell me this, Aditya. How many times a day do you think Dan, who's this busy guy, is checking his LinkedIn inbox?
0.
0. And I will tell you right now, this is the dirty little secret of LinkedIn. LinkedIn has over 1 billion users, but it has very little usage. The average user at LinkedIn during my time there checked their inbox once a year. So even
Oh
for,
my gosh.
I know, it's crazy, right? Even for $50 a month, there's no guarantee Dan ever sees your message. On the other hand, Aditya, what is the one inbox that Dan and every single professional in the world is checking 10 times a day?
Mailbox.
Their work email. Yes. Half of being a professional in 2025 is staying on top of your email. And so what we want to do is we want to track down that email address. So we go over here to a tool like scrap.io, and we can actually figure out dan.kramer@target.com is the way in. Now, if anyone wants to grab a similar tool, again, I put the link in the chat. I'm going to put it up here as well. These nice little tools integrate directly with LinkedIn, and they are free, and they give you access to the inbox that matters. But just to make this even more interesting, Aditya, let's say we had picked, let's go with, I'm going to see who we have over here. If we had gone with someone else, like Louisa, is it better to reach out totally cold as a total random stranger? Or is it better to get a warm intro to an insider?
Warm intro.
Warm intro, right? Because as much as people want to help out fellow UIS folks, they really want to help out the people who are plugged into their friends and to their family. And so what you can do is you could say, hey, I'm going to go to Rihanna, have Rihanna introduce me to Louisa, and now I have a way better chance of getting in touch because I don't just share UIS, I also share this mutual connection. So another powerful thing that LinkedIn can do for you. Now, Aditya, one last question, and you've been fabulous. Once you're chatting with someone like Louisa or someone like Dan, what do you want to ask them to discover if Target is a good fit for you?
How did you get into Target?
How did you get into Target? How did you get that job? But before we put the cart before the horse, let's take one step backwards. If
Okay.
you want to make sure that Target is right for you, what do you have to learn about Aditya? What do you have to understand to make sure it matches your values?
What their week look like?
Yeah. Like, are they going to give you a chance to travel? Are they going to give you a chance to make social impact? Are they going to give you a chance to use your skills with reporting and Power BI? And so what you can do is you can come back to ChatGPT one last time and say, generate 10 questions for an alum at Target to help me decide if this employer is a good fit for my skills, interests, and goals. And of course, ChatGPT knows about that because you told it. You gave it the information to work with. And so watch what happens here. Now we're going to come full circle, Aditya, and we're going to come right back to the things that matter. If you want to be using Power BI, if you want to do data storytelling, we've got to dig into the stuff today to make sure you're happy tomorrow. And to help you get there, Aditya, I would love, love, love to do a profile makeover for you. So just look me up on LinkedIn and then send me a quick note to remind me about this conversation, and I will go to bat for you. Okay, Aditya?
Yes, thank you.
Hey, thank you. Can we get a huge round of applause for Aditya, everyone? Round of applause in the classroom, round of emojis online, because Aditya was awesome. Okay, if you've got questions about anything you just saw, whether it's which AI I chose, how I prompted it, or any of the other topics from reaching out to alumni to engaging with them, let's take those questions on. And you can ask in a couple ways. Number one, if you're in the classroom, just raise your hand. Number two, if you're online, put it in the chat or raise your Zoom hand and I'll give you a call. Let me pause for a moment. Kathy, let me know if there are any questions in the room. And if not, we'll keep on rolling.
Well, I have a question. The
Yeah.
tool that showed us to find emails, can that be used with any browser?
Yeah, so I believe that most of these tools are better with Chrome, just because Chrome has like 80% market share today, which is crazy. And so a lot of developers will develop for Chrome first. That being said, if you use Safari, if you use Internet Explorer or any of these other tools, there are probably versions that'll work with that as well. Great question, Kathy. Okay,
Any other question?
if no questions, oh, is there a question up front there, Kathy?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Let me keep on rolling, but obviously feel free to pull that emergency brake at any point. Happy to dive deeper as you see fit. For now, let's get into the really juicy stuff. So imagine now that you're a recruiter. Maybe you're a recruiter at Target or Pfizer or wherever. You have 1 billion profiles to search through. How do you possibly tell who's a good fit? Is it A, the classes they took, B, the keywords they listed, or C, that GPA they worked so hard to earn back in Springfield? Okay, everyone online, give me your online answers. Everyone in the classroom, get ready to raise some hands. Okay, if you think that the answer is A, the power of classes, raise your hand right now. Okay, not too many takers there. Uh-oh. How about B, keywords? Who thinks keywords is where it's at? Okay, a couple more hands. I like to see those hands. That's great. And then finally, C, grades. Who thinks that grades are the biggest determinant? Wow, Kathy, here we are in a school. No one's saying grades. And then online, we've got Snehal saying B, Abigail saying B, Steven saying B. Everyone is saying keywords. Okay, let's go to Abigail online. Abigail, if you can unmute for one moment, why do you think keywords are a recruiter's best friend?
On LinkedIn, classes and GPA aren't really listed, and keywords are your traits.
Yeah, it goes right back to that fundamental dilemma of every recruiter, which is I want someone who's great, but I've got to find someone who can do the job first before I worry about anything else. And that's exactly what keywords are about. Can you walk the talk? And so, to prove it to you, I'm going to walk the talk myself right back to LinkedIn Recruiter, and I'm going to show you an actual search. So in this example, I'm searching for a project manager right there in Chicagoland with all these good skills, business strategy, analytics, all that good stuff. And look who rises to the top of my screen. Not just any old people, but the people who have that exact keyword, project manager, in their exact headline, that little piece of text right below their name. Now you may be wondering to yourself, what's going on, Jeremy? Is this an accident? Is it a coincidence? And I say, no way. It is by design. Because LinkedIn's engineers have a super tough problem. Every single day, every single hour, every single minute, they've got to break millions of ties because lots of people have the same keywords all throughout their profile. And so the easiest way to break those ties is to give more weight to one section. And because your headline is your shortest section, your hardest to game section, your most authentic section, it gets the most weight in the algorithm. And to prove it out, I'm going to do a live profile makeover right on my screen right now for the first person who raises their hand. And I want to go back to Snehal because Snehal was first last time online. Snehal, are you interested in doing this together?
Yes, Jeremy, sure.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for your patience. And now, Snehal, I want you to throw down the gauntlet for me. Tell me the name of the job title you want to be found for, and together we're going to make it happen.
Sure. Tableau developer.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, so Snehal wants to have this very specific job doing data visualization with the tool Tableau. And Snehal, what I want you to do, and you'll appreciate this as a data scientist,
Yeah.
is I want you to start to look at the patterns. So for every student, both in the classroom and online, search for the exact job you want as if you were a recruiter. Put on that recruiter hat. And then, once we run this search, what I want you to tell me, Snehal, is what do these people have in common? We've got Saiteha, we've got Frank, we've got Prerna, we've got Durrani, we've got Viswanath. Why are they at the very top of my screen?
Yeah, because these people have Tableau developer in their headline or in their job role.
Exactly. And so it's so critical that we see that pattern because even though it might seem top secret, it's actually hiding in plain sight. And we can see it every time we search. Okay, with that in mind, Snehal, is it okay if I pull up your profile, not to criticize it, but to shower it with keyword magic?
Sure.
Ah, that's awesome. Okay, everyone, give Snehal a lot of love in the chat. A little round of applause. I'm in the room because what Snehal is doing right now takes a lot of guts. She's putting herself out there. And that's exactly what we need when the going gets tough. So I'm going to look up Snehal's profile. Snehal, that's the wrong Snehal. My apologies.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to look up Snehal, Springfield. Let's see if we can get a little more specific here.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
beautiful. So we have Snehal's profile. And again, I love, love, love. What about your profile in particular, Snehal? What do you have here that makes me so happy?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, but now here's the thing. It
Mhm.
sounds like you've already been a Tableau developer over at Accenture. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so you are super lucky because you've already done the job that you want next. So it's simply just calling out, hey, I have that experience. What about for all your classmates, Snehal? They're saying, oh, I'm not in the same position as Snehal because I want to change careers or I want to start a new career.
Okay.
If you had not already been a Tableau developer, is there a way that you could have listed it on your profile without being unethical?
No, if means you're asking like if I did not do that job and still I'm putting in my profile.
Right. So let's imagine that you were a student just getting her start and you just
Okay.
put down Tableau developer and now everyone says, oh, it feels like imposter syndrome. I'm not a Tableau developer yet. What single word could you insert right here that would make that phrase absolutely true?
Uh,
And if anyone knows in the classroom, feel free to shout it out as well.
Yes.
What did they say there, Kathy?
I don't know, they're whispering.
Oh,
Tell
they're
us.
whispering. Say it a little louder.
Would it be aiming to be a Tableau developer or interested?
Aiming. Yeah. Or Zainab said online, aspiring. So aspiring Tableau developer, seeking Tableau developer internships, exploring Tableau developer opportunities. It actually doesn't matter what the before and after is, the prefix and the suffix. All that matters is the substance itself, which is the most important keyword in your most important section. So for every student right now, don't just say, hey, great job, Snehal. Help yourself. Make sure that your headline has that exact job title right where the recruiters need to see it. That is step one. Now, Snehal, let's face facts. How many people are you competing against for these roles?
Many.
Many, yeah. And if that's bad for you, who is it really bad for, Snehal? Who does not want to read 15,000 profiles? I think I heard someone say it. Recruiters, yes. The recruiters hate that because they don't want to have to waste that time. So now, imagine you're a recruiter. You're looking for an awesome Tableau developer. You have 15,000 results. What do you filter for next, Nehal? How do you cut that list down?
Location.
Location for sure. And
Uh,
then what else proves that you can do that job?
Based on job description, what are the important keywords
Yeah.
like skill sets?
Exactly. What are the skills that prove that you can do this job and they're going to make the recruiter look good when they bring you in as a candidate? Now, Snehal, I'm going to give you a big hint. It turns out that the most important skills for this job are being given to you every single day in one special section of LinkedIn. What is that magical section, Snehal?
Mm,
And if anyone knows, shout it out, put it in the chat. Where can we get a list of the most important skills straight from the recruiters themselves? Don't be shy, y'all. This is critical.
Their profile.
Aha! So someone said profile, and then Victoria Online said jobs. And Victoria, you nailed it, because it turns out that if you're a recruiter, you don't want to hide what you're looking for. You want to be totally transparent. And inside each of these job descriptions is all the stuff that matters. I need someone who has experience with application enhancements, with problem resolution, people working with product owners, all this stuff. But as you can see, Snehal, this is a long, long list. So how would you like a cheat sheet, Snehal, of just the keywords that matter most? Would that be helpful?
Like the keywords from this job description.
Right, like just pulling out the stuff that matters, getting rid of all the fluff. Would that be useful?
Yes.
Okay.
So Tableau, SQL.
Right, and you can use your own human eyes for sure. But here's the
Yeah.
problem. If you're applying to like 100 different jobs, you don't want to have to go through with a little magnifying glass. So instead, you're going to leverage the power of AI. Watch this. This is one of the most useful prompts anyone can do. I want every single UIS student grab a job that you're excited about, come back to AI, and then simply say, what are the top 15 most important skill keywords in this JD, job description? And you just paste in the entire thing. No coding, no formatting. And voila, for the first time in the history of job seeking, we have our cheat sheet. This is the stuff that actually matters. So that's step one. Now, Snehal, are you ready for the second step, the scary step, where we find out how you're doing on these keywords inside the black box?
Like
Well,
putting.
let me put it this way, Snehal. Would you rather find out what's holding you back before you get rejected or after you get rejected?
Before.
Yes. Because here's the thing. This is what I was telling Kathy before the session started. A lot of times when we're job searchers, we feel like we have no power over our destiny. We're just being battered by the winds of fate. But the reality is we have a lot of control if we know where to focus it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to Snehal's profile, and I want you all to do the same. I want you to pull up the More button or the Resources button on your profile, and then save to PDF. Basically, export all of your content, all of your keywords into one single file, and then upload it right to ChatGPT with one final request. Which of those skills am I missing? Okay, Snehal, the moment has arrived. Are you ready for your moment of truth?
Yeah.
Okay. Snehal, you are amazing, by the way. Thank you for being so brave, so courageous. Okay, and Snehal, it turns out you're doing great. You've got Tableau, you've got SQL, you've got big data. And it turns out the only things you're missing are just a handful of things at the bottom. Things like crosstabs, advanced SQL, REST API, etc. Now, of these skills that you're missing, do you have experience with any of these things,
Yes.
Snehal?
Yes.
Okay, so now this is where that agency comes in, that empowering feeling. You have these skills, but you're not getting credit for them today. What can you do, Snehal, to fix that problem?
So I should write that in my roles where what exactly I have worked on, different role. I should put there.
Exactly. And here's why it's so important to list them here instead of just your skill section, because you'll appreciate this, Snehal, as a very data-driven person. If you were designing the LinkedIn algorithm, the one that determines who goes to the top of the screen, would you be confident that someone who lists the skills in the skill section is going to be really good at those skills? Like, would you trust the section down here?
Yes.
And remember,
I
you got to be
would.
skeptical.
Yeah, I would be. I would trust the description I'm putting inside my job roles more than skills.
Exactly. Because here's the thing. Anyone can list anything under
Yes.
skills. There's no proof, there's no context. And if you don't believe me, let's look inside the black box. Even though I can't give you free access to LinkedIn Recruiter because it costs $10,000, I can give you access to the next best thing, which is an actual ATS system. So again, when you apply for jobs, your resume gets scanned by an ATS. Here's a real live ATS to try. And if we came over here and said data analyst, and then we said SQL, we can see how the algorithm actually works. And just like Snehal said, look at this. It's not a binary match. It is a match based on the depth of your experience. How much have you used it over your career? So Snehal, big question for you. Do
Okay.
you have a copy of your resume on your hard drive that has full bullet points for all of these jobs?
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome. How many times every single day, Snehal, is that resume on your hard drive getting scanned by recruiters?
Actually, I'm a bit confused about that
What's
because
the answer, everyone? Say it loud and
None.
proud. Zero. Goose
no,
egg.
yeah.
Because a recruiter can't see what's on your hard drive. They can only see what you give them on LinkedIn.
Oh yeah, okay.
Now here's the really crazy question, Snehal, and then I'll let you off the hook. How many times every single day do you think your LinkedIn profile is being scanned by recruiters alone? Feel free to just give it a number. 10,
Think
100.
yeah, 10 times. Yeah.
Okay, so 10 is a good start,
Yeah.
but you're off by a factor of 10 million because the answer is 100 million times a day. There are 10 million recruiters on LinkedIn. They do 10 searches a day on average, and every search searches every profile, every last word. So Snehal, every time they're searching for those things that are on your hard drive, but not on your profile, that's a missed opportunity. That's the thing that I hate the most.
Oh,
So what should you immediately do, Snehal, to close that gap?
got it.
Just paste
Yeah.
in those resume bullets that are already beautiful right to where recruiters can see them. And then I'm going to ask for one last favor, Snehal, because you've been amazing. If I gave you one little homework assignment, and I promised you it's going to be the most important homework you ever do, would you take me up on that offer?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, you probably can see where I'm headed. But my whole belief, and the reason that I got into education in the first place, is I think the true power of education is not just about learning, it's about opening doors to opportunity. And so the reason I'm assigning you this homework, Snehal, is that I don't think there's anything else you can do with your scarce time that is more valuable than giving recruiters what they need and opening as many doors to opportunity as you can. And if you can do that for me, Snehal, I will come back and do a full profile makeover for you. How does that sound?
Sure, sure. Can you repeat exactly what I have to do in my homework?
Ah, yes. Okay. Sorry about
Sorry.
that. So basically, the first thing I would do is I would paste in all of your resume bullet points because I want to make sure
Okay.
that you get credit for them here.
Okay.
And then I would run that search one more time. And I would specifically focus on the fact, like with your new bullet points, are you getting credit for crosstabs and Tableau Server and Advanced SQL? If you are, you're great. If not, try to find ways to incorporate those keywords so you're getting credit on your most important profile. Okay?
Got it. Yeah.
All right. And
Yeah.
Snehal, you were fabulous. I put you in a hot seat, but you were the one on fire. Beautifully done, Snehal.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. All the points were like best. Thank you so much for
Oh,
helping all of us.
totally my pleasure. Okay, everyone, put your hands together for Snehal. Make it rain emojis for Snehal. She was fabulous. And then the next best way to show love is to ask juicy questions. If you've got questions about the LinkedIn algorithm, if you've got questions about the cover photo or the headshot or open to work or endorsements or LinkedIn premium or posting content, I know that LinkedIn is so mysterious, but I'm here to give you the truth. And all you've got to do is ask. You can ask in the chat, you can raise your hand online, or you can raise your hand in the classroom. All of those are good. Omolade, did you have a question?
Yes, I do. Hi. I have two questions actually.
Yeah.
So you know where exploring Tableau developer opportunities is for Snehal on her profile. My question is, what if you are pursuing different job roles at once and you want to like broaden your chances? How do you put that there? Is it just like one like let's say if okay.
Yeah,
Mm,
absolutely. And obviously, you can't do this for an unlimited number of roles. But I think as
mm,
a student, Omolade, you can get away with at least up to 3 roles. Because
Okay.
recruiters know that it's tough to be a student. You have to have a plan
Mm-hmm.
A and a plan B and a plan C. But if you have like 8 roles listed here, then the recruiter gets suspicious because they think you're not focused. So I
Okay.
would go up to 3 max, okay?
Okay, then my second question. So you know how Instagram uses hashtags and what is the LinkedIn version of that? Would it be experiences or the skills or what
Yeah.
exactly would it be?
Yeah, absolutely. So the nice thing about LinkedIn profiles is every last word does get scanned. Now, the
Mm-hmm.
words in your headline matter more, but your about section matters, your
Mm-hmm.
experience section matters, your education section matters. So my recommendation is don't worry about hashtags per se. Just
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you spell out in plain English your most important skills in as many of these sections as possible. Because one of the things that you may have gotten a sense of from looking at this experience rating is cumulative. And basically, if you
Mm-hmm.
have experience with a skill as a paid employee, as an intern, as a volunteer, as a student, it all counts. So please list it in all those sections. Okay, Omalade?
So you're saying if I do all that and let's say a recruiter is looking for a particular um person for a job position, you're saying when it scans it, it would pop like my profile may pop up.
Right,
Because
because here's, yeah,
how will my profile pop up is the questions for like for the recruiter.
yeah, absolutely. So just like we were talking about here,
Mm-hmm.
this is a very similar search to what a recruiter might do. They might say, I want a Tableau developer who has experience with SQL and with Power BI.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, what they're seeing here is like, oh, this person hits all the checkpoints. Tableau, Power BI, SQL. They have it in their profile as well. They have it in their experience section. The reason that Robert is at the top of my list is because he's giving me everything I need all throughout the
Mm-hmm.
profile. And so you want to
Mm-hmm.
help the recruiters help you by making it easy for them to find you.
Okay, I get that. Thank you so much.
Great question. Thank you for asking, Amalade.
Mm.
Let me just pause.
Jeremy,
Yeah, go for it, Kathy.
so I noticed that you were putting some terms in quotes. So when the
Yes.
students are looking for jobs, should they be using quotes as well?
Yeah, great point. So the quotes are very similar to Google itself. Like, let's say, for instance, you want to look for University of Illinois, and then you want to say Springfield. If you put it like that, it can find, University of Illinois, and then it can find Chicago and other stuff. Whereas if you put it in quotes, it forces it to look for that exact phrase. And so the same is absolutely true on LinkedIn, which is if you are looking for an exact job title called Tableau developer, don't just put in Tableau and developer. Make sure that that whole phrase goes together. Does that kind of bundling make sense, Kathy?
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
beautiful. Kathy, were there any questions in the room? I'm just trying to look at the screen here real quick.
Any questions in the room?
Don't be
Nope.
shy, y'all. Okay.
This time.
Let's take a question from Anthony. Anthony's got a great, juicy question online. How often should I be posting or engaging on LinkedIn as a student? Yes. So, Anthony, I will be honest with you. LinkedIn, as much as it may try to persuade you that it's on your side, is really in this whole thing just to make money for itself. And let's be real, that's just the way that capitalism works, right? So when you come over here, and the first thing that LinkedIn is begging you to do is please start a post, post some content, the reason they're asking for that is they want you to make money for them. You're giving them free content, free ideas, and then they can run advertisements on those things, and now they can make money themselves. Now, what if you really want to keep your eyes on the prize and avoid the trap of making money for someone else in a way that doesn't help you? I want you to always come back to the source of truth, which is the LinkedIn recruiter screen. I'm going to give you a link to the screenshot so you can always check it out in the future. And what you will notice here is there is absolutely no place on the screen where a recruiter is going to filter for how much content you post or engage with. There's no 100 posts a week or 25 likes a week because guess what, Anthony? It doesn't matter. If I'm a recruiter and I've got this really tough job to do, all I care about is can you do that job, where I need you to do that job, and with the ability to do that job. If you post a lot on LinkedIn, that's your own problem. Doesn't matter to me. So avoid that trap, Anthony. Keep your eyes on the prize, helping yourself. Great question. I'm glad you called it out. Okay, if there are any other questions, feel free to give me a holler at any point. But for now, time for our final pop quiz, and it's a fun one. Imagine now that we are 5 years in the future. It's April 2030. You are running your own company and your own team, and you're about to interview 3 candidates for a new position until you realize your crazy recruiter has brought in 3 members of the Simpsons cast. And this is especially good given that you guys are in Springfield. So you got to tell me, of these 3 characters, who would you rather hire for your own company? A. Homer, B. Lisa, or C. Mr. Burns? Now, if you've never seen The Simpsons, no worries at all. I know it's a very dated reference, although unbelievably it's still on the air. But if you're in the room, I want you to raise your hand if you are a Homer fan. So raise your hand if you're going to go with Homer. Okay, no takers for Homers. Joe, as he was saying. Okay, let's go next to Lisa. Any Lisa fans? Raise your hand. Oh, a lot of hands for Lisa. Interesting, interesting. And then finally, hands down, if you are a Mr. Burns fan, please raise your hand. Okay, not too many Mr. Burns fans. So let's do this. Let's.
Comedy show.
Did you want to give your rationale, Kathy?
No. Some of our students have never heard of The Simpsons, so I was just saying
yeah.
it's a comedy show.
It always makes me feel so old. I remember when The Simpsons was considered like cutting edge and like really risque, but times change. Okay, let's go to Angelina Russo online. Angelina, you said that you would prefer to hire Lisa for your own company. Why is that, Angelina?
I just feel like Lisa seems to have her head on straight mostly out of all of them.
Yeah. And I'll just push you on it a little bit. You know, obviously Homer seems pretty incompetent, but Mr. Burns has a track record of success. He's made all this money, he runs the nuclear power plant. Why not go with the guy with the proven track record?
I guess that's true. I don't know. I guess just from watching it myself, I guess I would prefer maybe Lisa's personality over Mr. Burns.
And guess what,
Yeah, he's
Angelina?
Yeah.
You are not alone, because every human feels the same way. When sociologists go around the world and they ask people from Springfield to Singapore, who do you want as a teammate? It's always the 2 things you identified. Yeah, they're competent, they can do the job, but I'm also going to be happy to work with them side by side. And as a result, I bring this up not just to reference The Simpsons, but to remind you guys as you go into interview season that you're going to need both of these traits to win those jobs that you want. And so, to win the very final profile makeover of this entire session, please raise your hands as fast as possible in the room or online. First hand that goes up gets this opportunity. And Kathy, I just want to come back to you real quick. Were there any hands in the room?
No, I saw Anthony online first.
Okay. Anthony, is your mic working now? Are you able to hop on like that? Just let us know if you can. Are you there, Anthony? Let me see. I see that Anthony has the mic, but it's showing as muted. Let's do this. Maybe what we'll do is we'll go to Abigail for this. But Anthony, if you're able to figure it out, let us know at some point and I can hook you up as well. So we'll go with Abigail this time, but Anthony, definitely hang in there. Okay. No worries, Anthony. We'll figure it out. All right. Abigail, are you there? Are you available?
Yes.
Okay. So Abigail, because I want to close out with some rhetorical fireworks here, do not go easy on me. Tell me the name of the kinds of jobs you would love to have after graduation, and together we're going to crack the code.
An athletic trainer.
Oh, super cool. Okay, so you want to be an athletic trainer. Now imagine that you are trying to get ready for a big interview and you want to understand what your future boss cares about. What is that document that we can refer to understand what he or she is looking for? Do you remember what that's called, Abigail?
The job description?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. And it's so funny. So often when we look at these job descriptions, our minds kind of go blank. We're like, oh, it's so annoying, so long. But inside those job descriptions is the stuff that actually matters. This is the essence of the job straight from your future boss. So let's go ahead and just grab one of these as an example. So here's this athletic trainer role. And as with most job descriptions, it's got a million bullet points, which is why it's so hard to understand. But what we're going to do is we're going to take it back to ChatGPT and we're going to do a little translation. We're going to go from the world of really annoying HR job descriptions to really useful interview questions. So we say, what are the 10 most likely interview questions for this role? And then I want everyone to try this. I'm going to give you this prompt in the chat, or you can type it in on your own screen. We're going to start to understand, aha, behind every one of those bullet points is a potential question that is waiting in the wing. And what you're going to see here, Abigail, is so many of these questions are behavioral. Tell me about a time. Give me an example. When you face these kinds of questions, Abigail, is there a certain framework that you've learned from Kathy and the career team that is absolutely awesome for answering these tell me about a time questions?
Tell stories or specific examples that you can pull from.
Yes. So you need those really juicy stories. And do you recall any kind of framework in particular to make those stories sing? Maybe like a couple different letters, kind of like an acronym.
No.
Okay, no worries at all. There's this thing called the STAR framework. And there are other versions too, like CAR or SCAR or whatever. But basically, they're all human storytelling 101, which is hey, get me involved emotionally, set the scene for me. Then show me the stakes, show me that big challenge you are up against. Then take me into all the heroic actions, all the juicy steps you took. And then and only then give me the happy ending. So, Abigail, this is the STAR method. I know this. Your interviewer knows it. I know Kathy knows it. Who else do you think knows the STAR method that's not even human?
Uh, A- AI.
AI, that's
ChatGPT.
right. It's crazy, right? AI has been trained on all of this stuff to the point of being able to really come in and get you ready for prime time. So watch this. Generate a STAR answer for number 5 based on my CV. I'll just put in my own personal resume in the interest of time, but it'll give you a sense of how it works. And again, if you want to replicate, you can grab the chat right in there. And what you'll see is that ChatGPT is so good at taking the raw ingredients of our careers and whipping them into shape into storytelling magic. Now, here's the dark side, Abigail. If we do this on our side, we might be thinking to ourselves, aha, we're all done. We're ready for prime time. But if we only focus on competent storytelling, what is that other dimension that we're forgetting about?
The warmth.
The warmth. And here's the biggest question of all, Abigail. If you're going to walk into that athletic trainer interview and you want to be warm and engaging and charismatic, how do you do that if you feel so cold and nervous on the inside?
You can't really. That's why you got to go in knowing kind of like what you're going to be talked about.
Yeah. So part of it is preparation, like having a good sense of what you're going to face. But here's the thing, like I'll be told over and over again, Jeremy, you got to smile, you got to have a good handshake, good body energy. I think most people know that intuitively, but I think a lot of times we shut down in the inferno of the interrogation room because it's overwhelming. We're just not ready for it. Is there a way we could get our body ready, Abigail, to basically be on autopilot and deliver that warmth whenever we need it? Any guesses?
No, not right now.
Yeah, no worries. And don't worry, no one else has any ideas either, because I think this is really the hardest thing is like we've all faced these interviews where we kind of just crash and burn, even though we were perfect for the job because of the nerves, because of the anxiety. And I think the only way against it is to get enough practice and enough feedback that we make it second nature. And so, obviously, you're going to start with Kathy, you're going to start with your career team. But if you want to get even more practice when they're not available, check this out. There is a hidden interview gym, in quotes, hiding inside LinkedIn. And LinkedIn never tells you about it because they don't make any money off of it. But it is awesome for getting more interview prep reps. All the most common questions, certain different kinds of questions for different kinds of roles. And then for each of these questions, you're going to give yourself 2 powerful pieces of feedback, Abigail. The first feedback is visual. We know that we are a visual species. We are drawn to people who are putting out the right facial gestures, the right body language. So you've got to see yourself as your interviewer does. And then number 2, just like Kathy herself, you got to kick your butt a little bit. Say, hey, if I want to be my best, I've got to live up to what's possible. And that means the right velocity of speech, the right variation of pitch, avoiding filler words. And this is the best part of all. Imagine taking this sample answer, Abigail, to a UIS alum who works at the organization you want to work at. How powerful would that be to get that insider feedback?
Very.
Okay, here's the best part of all. Every single thing I just showed you, Abigail, 100% free, available anytime. Now, how does that sound, Abigail?
That's nice to know.
Okay, so here's the deal. I want every single Prairie Star out there, hit that interview gym, pump up those interview muscles. When the big day arrives, you're ready for prime time. And to give you a big boost, Abigail, drop me a line on LinkedIn because I want to do that profile makeover for you. Okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Abigail. You were awesome. Okay, I know we're down to just like 1 minute left, and I apologize for going so late. However, before we go, I want to shower you with a bunch of goodies. So let's do this. Let me give you a sense of what's possible here, which is number one, you guys already have access to the world's best career team in the world between Kathy and her team. But if I can ever help in any way, answering questions about LinkedIn or AI, drop me a line. I'm happy to connect today, answer a question tomorrow, even help out a year from now if that's useful. So that's number one. Number two is if you want a profile makeover today but didn't get a chance to win one, you can certainly get that through the link in the chat. And I'll share all those links with Kathy. And then I've got one last crazy thing, which is my personal mentor on this whole journey, even though I never met him personally, was Steve Jobs. Because as I was transitioning from being a kindergarten teacher to a tech guy, I got a chance to intern at Apple in the summer of 2011, and I got a chance to see in person Steve deliver the last presentation of his life. And that one thing that sticks in my memory from that day in July 2011 was that even though he was really sick at the time, he just always made sure to leave people with one more thing. And so my one more thing for you is what I call ProfileBot 4K. Now, here's the deal. I know that LinkedIn is the world's most boring social network, but hopefully you know at this point it's the most important social network, at least for opportunity. And so if you want to use it right, I want to give you all the tools. If you say, hey, I really want to be a product manager or a salesperson or a marketer or whatever it is, you know that you got to tell a powerful story. You got to engage recruiters in the exact place they're looking. And so what you're going to do here is you're going to really spell out for recruiters in all the places they're looking, here's why you can believe in me. Starting in your headline, down to your about section, your cover photos, the keywords you need, even stuff we didn't have time for. Like if you say, how do I get a referral at Wells Fargo or wherever you want to work, it can give you some advice there as well. So this link, and this is free all the time, is right there in the chat, but I want to give it to you with a little bit of a string attached. And that is, I don't want you going out there into this crazy world, just taking any old job and hoping for the best. I want you to do exactly what Steve said to all of us, which is to go out there, recognize how awesome it is to have this opportunity to do something useful in the world. And then I want you to make a big honking dent in the universe wherever you go next. So one last time, I want to thank Kathy. I want to thank all the volunteers, Aditya, Snehal, Abigail, and I want to thank all of you for coming out and joining on this journey. I cannot wait to celebrate your success and all that comes next. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jeremy.
Thank
My
you.
pleasure, guys.
Thank you.
Here's wishing you a beautiful evening. Thank you again, Kathy.
Thank you, Jeremy. And we also have your career bot on the front page of our Career Development Center site.
Whoa, I love it. And so I encourage everyone to try that out and then also work with Kathy because she and her team are the best in the biz.
Thank you for joining us. We're going to wrap up now. FYI, Jeremy talked a lot about ChatGPT 4.0. We do have Microsoft Copilot at the university, and you can log into it with your UIS account, and you have access to 4.0 through Copilot. And
that's absolutely right.
there.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Go ahead.
Just want to wish you guys a beautiful evening and a beautiful start to spring in Springfield.
Thank you.
Here's all.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.